Hello everyone, what's up? My name is Azam, and today I would like to tell you guys about my experience in learning Japanese language using Pimsleur, right? Alright, in short, so basically, I had a good time learning Japanese with the Pimsleur method, and soon after I finished all 5 levels of Pimsleur Japanese, I talked to some online tutors on italki, and also to some of my online Japanese friends, and they were mostly impressed by how much I can speak after 5 months of learning Japanese from nothing using Pimsleur Japanese. So I would say it's a pretty good program, but before you go into buying that particular program, I think there's 5 things that you should know, and this is video I want to share about it. So basically, first thing is I would say Pimsleur Japanese is mostly suited for beginners, absolute beginners, and for hobbyists. Basically, if you already know some Japanese, if you're like intermediate level, I would say this is not the program for you. But if you're learning Japanese for fun, so basically for my case, I want to talk to my Japanese friends and also understand them. So that's just my goal basically. So Pimsleur gave me that from the using the application. So I'd say it's a good program for beginners and for like hobbyists. Like if you enjoy learning Japanese language for your hobby. And then the second thing is Pimsleur can get quite expensive. You go to the website, it costs like the whole 5 levels costs like 500 American bucks and more than 2,000 ringgit in Malaysian currency. So it's pretty pricey, I would say, for like a language program that's good, but only take you until the intermediate level. I think it's quite expensive. So what I would suggest is for you to get the subscription model. So the subscription models cost like I think for Americans I think like 15 to 20 bucks per month, and for Malaysians it's 80 ringgit per month, which I think is definitely much more affordable. But of course, the downside is it's monthly subscription, so you don't keep the audio lessons, the MP3 lessons that Pimsleur gave you. So I would say it's a much affordable method, but of course you have to really discipline yourself to get the most out of your subscription every single day. So what I did was one level is divided into 30 lessons. So I would do all 30 lessons every day. I mean, one day, one lesson. So but in 1 month, I already finished one level. So that's how I maximized my subscription. And then thirdly is so Pimsleur markets its product as you only need to spend 30 minutes to learn the language. In my opinion, I disagree. So one audio lesson in Pimsleur is like 30 minutes, right? But I think you need to do more revision whenever you finish a lesson, either by listening back to that lesson again, or you use the built-in flashcard system, or like there's like small games in the Pimsleur app that can help you memorize stuff. So what I did was for every single day that I use Pimsleur, so 30 minutes learning to the audio lessons. Then I would spend another 30 minutes to basically revise back what I learned, and then memorize the words using flashcards from the Pimsleur app. And also, I did my own flashcards, like a physical flashcard. So I took a piece of A4 paper and I cut it into small pieces to act as my flashcards. And the Pimsleur method, it's specifically tailored for pronunciation and talking and listening. So that means at the end of the 5 levels, you can basically talk in, I would say, early intermediate Japanese. You can ask basic questions like directions, or like how much does it cost, or basically you can even make jokes even. But it won't teach you much on writing, especially of course the hiragana, katakana, and kanji. And also, as for the grammatical rules, the Pimsleur content does teach you some grammar rules, basic grammar rules. But at the end of the 5 levels of Pimsleur Japanese, I would say my Japanese grammar is pretty much still spotty, but I can do like basic past tense and basic sentence constructions, right? Because my goal in Japanese language is to simply just talk normal, sort of like broken Japanese. I mean, as long as the other party can understand what I'm saying, that's good enough for me. Like in my example, like I'm Malaysian, my native language is Malay. Like if a foreigner talks to me in like a grammatically broken Malay, but if I can understand him, I think that's good enough. So that's my Japanese language goal. So grammar and writing isn't exactly the best. Isn't exactly my goal in learning Japanese. So I would say if your goal is to like to read and write Japanese, I think Pimsleur is not for you. But if you want to just speak and listen and pronunciation correctly, I'd say Pimsleur is your app. And finally, number 5, I would say the Pimsleur content. I mostly had a good time with it, but at times it can get pretty boring. So what in Pimsleur? In Pimsleur content, Pimsleur Japanese, so they introduce you to conversations, right? So these conversations range from many settings, so like maybe in a shop or in a mall or in a train station, and a variety of topics. So sometimes they teach you some basic Japanese history as well. For example, now I know the word kaikoku, which means opening the country, open country policy. I mean, this of course referring to the back in the period when Japan closed its borders for a couple hundred years, which I think was pretty interesting. But there's sometimes they talk about agriculture and some movies as well, which which is not something that I'm interested in. I know I know the word for script, which is kyakuhon, which is I don't think I'll use that word anytime soon, but I know that word now. So because of Pimsleur, but I would say 90% of the Pimsleur content is for me at least it's very fun and very interesting and very practical. But of course, maybe it can get boring for some people, so it might be a turn off. And for me, that 10% boring content, I can deal with it. So yeah, that's basically 5 things that I want to say about Pimsleur, and I hope it helps you in making your purchasing decision in investing into a Japanese language learning product. I know my English also is not very good. English is my second language. It's something that I learned in school, so maybe my message isn't clear in this video. In which, if that's the case, feel free to leave your comments in the comment section below, and I will try my best to reply to your comments and help you if you want Pimsleur or not. So thank you so much for watching and have a great day. Bye bye.